Natalie here. Welcome back to Gypsy Papery. What are we doing today? Well, today I have this cover, and actually let me close my window because I know they're about to start cutting grass soon. Okay, so I have this gorgeous hardcover, and so I'm gonna start working on the Vampire Swap journal, and the Vampire Swap is happening at my group, Alternative Junk Journals. The link is down in the description box if you want to come over and hang. So this cover initially was not intended for, wow, that is very reflective. I'm just noticing. Hopefully you can't see my face. The cover originally was for something else, and I've had it prepped, I'm embarrassed to say, for almost 6 months, and I just never went back to it. I put it away, never to be found again. And then I started cleaning up my area, and I was like, oh hey, look. So initially I was going to do a soft cover because the swap has either soft cover or hardcover, but I really wanted to do a hardcover. I just didn't know if I had the time. But ta-da, I have a hardcover, and it's gorgeous. It's just not what I'm looking for the cover that I want for the Vampire Journal. But I know that I'm not gonna go back to this original idea because it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. So I thought, what the heck else am I gonna make with a gold and red cover? So I figured, hey, hello, red blood vampires. It just needs a little tweaking. So in this tutorial / craft with me, I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm gonna take out my handy dandy file folder that I used to do my art on. It's a mess. And I'm gonna grab some supplies and I will be back. So I probably will make this I want to say craft with me, because it's like a loose tutorial, because honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I don't know where we're going with this. This could get ugly really fast, but I'm gonna try and somehow explain what I don't know I'm gonna do yet. So I have an idea. A small idea, but still an idea. So what I have is the following supplies. Let me sit down so I can arrange in a way that makes sense. It's been raining all day here, and I just got another rain advisory. It's been like the 5th one this day. But so supplies. I like to alter my books with paint. So I have 2 sponge brushes, not sure why 2 yet, but I figured 2 is better than 1. And just a nice sort of thick bristled brush to hold a lot of paint. I've got my water to clean off my brushes, and I have black acrylic paint, and I just buy cheapo paint. I'm not really like a paint connoisseur. I have my drink here, 1 second. I'm not a paint connoisseur. This is the cheapo brand from one of the craft stores. I don't know, probably Walmart. And it's black because I love me some black. And then I have 2 Americana paints. Oops, something fell. And these are brand new. I got these at Michael's because the current paints that I have, the reds are like orangey reds, and I was looking more for cool toned reds. And so this one is called Cranberry Wine, this one. And this one is called Tuscan Red. So it's got a little bit of warmth in there, but there's definitely a lot of cool in here too. So those are my paints. I also have, I'm being fancy. You don't have to be fancy. You could just use like an egg carton or something. But I have my palette. I usually use this for my watercolors because I have like the little tubes of like the concentrated watercolor. But yeah, we're just gonna dump. I'm very sloppy with paints. I think it's fun when you're sloppy with paints. Maybe that's just me. Oops. But it's a big cover, so I'm just gonna glop paint on there. This one is already open. Just gonna shake it because it's been sitting there for a while. I don't know why I have so much black, because I literally use this all the time. But this must, oh wait, I have two of these. That's probably why. I'm gonna be careful with the black. So you don't want to put as much black and not as close to your reds. I'm gonna put the black kind of like right there. General rule with painting is dark into light, so that you can control how dark your paints get, and also because the dark makes a big impact really fast with a really small amount. So you just want to be careful, lightly put the dark into your lighter color and mix until you're happy. That's just a rule of painting that I learned a long time ago when I used to paint a lot more. And so my other trick, this one is kind of thick though. I'm gonna shake it while I talk. My other trick is with glue. You don't have to use Mod Podge. You could use any sort of glue, I guess. I just use a little tiny bit to mix in with the paint. And the reason for that is I don't want the paint to seep into the fabric and wet the cardboard, because it'll warp your cover, right? Because I mean, it's just, you know, paper. It's glorified paper. It's just like really sturdy, you know, condensed paper. Basically it's what cardboard is. So just want to be careful with not putting too much and letting it seep and sit in your on your cover. And so the Mod Podge helps it kind of seal also, because sometimes when you put paint on fabric, it lifts up, right? It kind of puckers up because you're putting moisture there in between those two layers. I used FABRITAAAC on here, so it shouldn't do that, but you know, like if you use Aleene's or any kind of water-based glue, you'll definitely get lifting if you use if you use paint. So you have to be careful. So the glue essentially acts as a sealant, kind of mixed in with the paint. So the paint is a sort of like a glorified pigmented glue, so to speak. And it'll help the fabric stay stuck to your cover. It'll help it with like drying a little bit faster, and kind of not seeping through. And then even better, because it's kind of like a coat and a sealant, you'll be able to stamp easier, get crisper images if you're going to stamp or whatever else you were going to do. It creates a nice base layer. I hope I didn't bore you to tears with that explanation, but that's why I use glue. So hopefully I can get this open. And so this is a very thick glue, because this is my fabric Mod Podge. So it's like a thick paste. So actually, I'm gonna just grab one of my other brushes and just right from the I can't talk today. Right from the lid, I'm just gonna glop a little bit and just put it down. You don't want too much glue, so this will definitely get watered down. So I'm gonna actually lift some of this up and move it over here, and then I'm just gonna take a lot of water and really water this down as much as possible. You want a watery consistency for sure. Okay. Okay, so that is a good watery consistency. So now we're going to just move it over so we can start kind of playing with paint here. And I forgot, you'll want a thinner brush to mix your paint. So for example, that red is a little too bright for me. So I'm just going, and the brush is wet. It's okay if it's a little wet because that helps thin out this the paint. I'm just gonna take a little bit over to the side and just barely dip my brush in the black and start mixing those colors, and I can kind of grab some of this Mod Podge here and then just kind of, I'm gonna have to turn it a little bit because it's hard to see, but see how much darker, almost like this color, but with a nice kind of bite to it, like a nice red bite. That's perfect. And I'm just gonna start painting. I'm not really gonna think too much here. And I don't want it to be perfect either because it's supposed to be a vampire book, so it's got to be a little messy, right? Like bloody, sort of messy. So, oops, I just got more black paint on there. That's fine. We're gonna put some red, more red in here. Hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing because I have no clue, like, if it's in the right place. I guess I should have marked off where my camera ends. See if I could see. So yeah, I mostly want to get some of this gold out of the way. It's a little jarring, and we're gonna work in layers. So don't worry about it getting too light on you. We're just gonna keep working in layers. And also on this fabric, the glue helps because that the metallic parts are shiny, so you want it to stick. You want it to stick pretty well on there. And some more water. I should probably put my water closer to this. There we go. So let's talk, shall we? While I'm doing this, it'll probably take forever. I don't know if you noticed, maybe some of you have, I recently closed my Etsy shop and I recently closed my Etsy shop. I also put the kibosh on my Insta. I don't know if I will be bringing them back. I had something happen to me that really just kind of left me feeling defeated and sad and just not wanting to even bother with junk journals anymore. And I'll probably make a video on it. I probably will because it's still bothering me and it happened earlier in the week. But I will probably not be opening my Etsy shop back, to be honest. I'm gonna start breaking into that other darker red since we're here. Kind of make the spine a little bit dimensional here. So, you know, sometimes things happen that you don't recognize as a blessing at first, and then when you kind of just sit on it for a little bit and process it, you're like, this is a sign that I need to I need to really kind of pay attention here. This is definitely a sign. So, oh, there's a little French bulldog being walked right now. That is so cute. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So this was definitely a sign. Definitely a sign. And I had already kind of not been feeling it. If you watched my other video where I did the altered notebooks, like crafty wise, I've been kind of like, you know, just not really wanting to craft anymore. Mostly because I've been busy, but now like this thing happened, I'm just like, add it to the list. You know what I'm saying? Like, just add it to the freaking list. We're getting low on the Mod Podge, so I'm just gonna grab some of the extra that I had on the other side that I saved and just add some water. Okay, to thin it out. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this was definitely a blessing in disguise, and definitely like a message from the universe, in a very sort of tragic kind of way. I want some more red in here. It's not bright enough. It's kind of too dark now. There we go. So immediately, well, not immediately, but definitely like a few hours after it happened, I just closed down my shop. And the following day, I just closed down my Instagram. And like I said, I don't know that I will be bringing those back. Mostly because one, the situation that happened, and two, because, you know, sometimes you have to like admit defeat, you know? And I've been struggling with Instagram for a while. Like, I feel like the compensation for it isn't there. Not monetarily, obviously, but like the time and effort spent into curating an Instagram, especially for like, you know, a brand. Like, I hate to think of my brand or my channel as a brand, but it technically is a brand, right? It's not me. It's a representative of the work that I do. So it is a brand related to my work, or my creative work rather, not my actual work. Because if it was actual work, I would have definitely found a new job a long time ago. But I just felt like sometimes you have to let go of things that don't serve you. I think we're good here. That's a nice base layer. Sometimes you have to let go of things that don't serve you. Now I'm going to do the edges. Because it's wasted time, and that's how I was feeling about Instagram. Etsy is another story that I'll probably do a separate video for, but the whole Etsy thing kind of led into the Instagram thing. But definitely, like, you know, sometimes you have to admit defeat and you have to give up on things that don't serve you. And so Instagram isn't my friend, you know, and even though I try to be like, oh, I'm gonna crack this algorithm and I'm gonna, you know, trying to be positive. Like, I try to be positive as much as I can, even though it's hard, but just try to be positive, be like, I'm gonna crack this Instagram algorithm, and I'm going to show it who's boss. And you know, I have like over 2,000. I'm just going to, even though it's wet, I don't care, because I wanted to maybe pick up some of that grunge down there. But I'm going to do the inside. Now, let me stop the other rambling for this rambling. When you do the inside, remember that you're using glue, okay? So you don't want to touch what's not fabric, because you don't want to create a layer of glue in between this and whatever you're going to stick onto here. With the fabric, it's kind of okay because it's still fabric, it seeps through, but just keep in mind that you just want to make sure you don't wet any of this. And the fabric, you want to just stay inside. You're not going to go all the way in, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But back to my story. So Instagram wasn't my friend. It wasn't trying to be my friend. And you know, because I have friends who do this, and I can see what their interactions are on their posts, it's really sort of hard, and it makes me doubt myself. And this is me keeping it so real. If any of you have ever felt like this, but you know, it makes you sort of feel like I'm not good enough, because clearly other people are getting interaction and I'm not. And so like, out of my 2,000 subs or followers, like literally 30 people are liking my posts. So that means only about 30 people are seeing my posts, or maybe a little bit more than that, but you know, they're just not liking it for whatever reason. And so from the time I'm taking the picture to post on Instagram, to editing it so that it looks perfect, to taking multiple pictures and editing them because I'm not sure which one yet I want to use, to finding the right time to post, right? Doing research on when's the best time to engage. You know, you got that that little feature, right, on your Instagram that tells you how many likes you got on what day, and which hours are the best, and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit, you know. It really is. And that's how they keep you. That's how they keep you. Yeah, if you do this, it'll turn around for you. No, it won't. It won't. And I know I sound bitter. I probably sound bitter, but bottom line is I've made peace with it. And the events that led to this didn't seem like a blessing, but it definitely was a blessing. So my Instagram is shut down because I wasn't reaping any benefit from it, versus the amount of time and energy and effort that I was putting into it, time away from my family and friends, and just actual real life, you know, like living real life, wasn't worth it for me anymore. So if you see my Instagram shut down, that is why. So this is getting there. We're getting there. This is drying. I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly dry it with my heat gun and come back. So basically, back to my story, is that I shut down my Instagram because I just felt like a lot of time, it was just a time waster, you know. And I feel like I get better engagement here on YouTube. So now I'm just adding more black into this red and just really going for it is basically what I'm doing now. Just adding the layers. Adding layers, that's what we're doing. Just keep mixing your reds and your blacks around until you're happy with the colors. And also don't forget your little bits of glue. So, yeah. And then the Etsy thing, I mean, I'll touch briefly on it. Basically, I just didn't want to deal with customer service issues anymore, you know. Not that I had a lot, but the one that happened earlier this week was really just defeating. Defeating would be the word. Very defeating. And so I just felt like, you know, it was just so out of the blue, and I've never gotten a dress like that before about something. And like I said, I'm not gonna say anything like specifically relating to what it was or anything like that, because I want to protect my customers' privacy. Basically, I just felt like I had a bad day at my real job And I finally got home and was spending time with my husband. You know, we were watching a movie or something, I think, and, you know, you get your phone dings. And I don't usually check my phone when we're, you know, just trying to spend some time together after I get home from work so I can decompress. But I just looked at it and then I saw what it was, and it was just like, just not something I want to deal with ever again in my entire life while I'm trying to spend time with family. It just really, at first, I want to say it enraged me, if I'm being honest. And then obviously I can see the person's side, definitely, because, you know, I never want somebody to be unhappy, especially with something that I created. But then that left me with even questioning. I had already been questioning if I wanted to continue on with making journals, like really questioning. Like, I'm sure one of my friends, I probably just, her ears are bleeding at this point, because it's pretty much a daily thing where I whine and complain to her about it. She's probably like, oh my god, please shut up. But that's where I was mentally, and then to have this happen, it was kind of like just solidified the feeling of like ick, you know, like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this, you know. I don't want to have to put up with this over something that's supposed to be fun. And I get it. I brought it upon myself. I opened up the shop, but it just seemed so out of proportion at the time when I first read it. And then, you know, the more I realized, like, you know, that's real to that person, so I can't minimize how they feel about a certain thing. But at the same time, I'm going to take myself out of this situation for good. And so then I closed down my shop. Now, obviously, I'm still making journals, because I wouldn't be making, you know, I wouldn't be making this one. And this one is for a swap. But if I'm honest, I'm going to say that I probably don't know if I'm going to be making anything to sell ever again. Ever. Ever. Unless it's a trusted customer and friend that is asking me. I'll consider it. But as far as me making stuff, like, just to make it so that I can sell, no. No, I'm not. And so through YouTube, I'll still be making crafts, you know. I'll still be making journals, but those journals will either be gifts or giveaways or for swaps. That's how I feel about it right now. Am I saying that that will ever change? I don't know. I don't know. That's how I feel now, you know. That's how I feel now. I hope so, because I got a lot of joy out of making journals and selling them, and getting really great feedback from people that bought them from me, and made really great friends from it, you know, really great people. But do I want to put up with something like that again? No. And I don't know that I can avoid something like that from happening again. It would take complete restructuring of everything that I do. And like I said, I'll make a video separately about the specific kind of issue without naming any parties or anything like that, just so that other people aren't kind of caught with their pants down like I did. But yeah, so for now, my Etsy and my Instagram are closed, and they will be closed indefinitely. And so you can reach me through email, you can reach me through Facebook Messenger, you can go to the Facebook group Alternative Junk Journals. I sometimes post exclusive videos just to that group. But that's about it. That's about how much effort I'm gonna make into this because making it alone is taxing and takes time and energy, but then all the other extra crap that comes along with it, I'm done. Like, I'm literally just mentally done. And I know I sound like I'm angry or whatever, but I'm just keeping it real with you guys. What can I say? But here, this is the cover, and it's looking really sick right now, like just ripped flesh, right? So I'm gonna let this dry a lot more before I add any more other touches to it, but I really love how it's looking. It's looking like a bloody mess, and I love it. So I think we're gonna stop here. I'm going to let this dry. You have to work in layers, and you have to work on dry layers for this to work. And so my next thing that I'll do is, once this dries and I see how dark or not it is, I will either add more layers to make it as dark as I want, and then we'll start kind of aging it and altering it how it looks. So we're gonna let this go live somewhere else and get a life of its own. I hope you guys enjoyed this little craft with me / mini tiny tutorial, and rambling as always, much rambling. And like I said, you guys can still find me here on YouTube. You can go to the Alternative Junk Journals group, which the link is down in the description box. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and not just subscribe, but hit the notification bell if you want to see future videos from me. And I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.